GalaxyFighter. This lesson is called The Ship's Health. Here is our ship flying in space when a meteor is about to hit it. What should happen when the meteor hits it? When the meteor hits the ship, it is damaged, illustrated by removing a part of it. Here is our damaged ship flying in space when it sees a depot. What should happen when the ship touches the depot? When the ship touches the depot, its damages are repaired. Here we have our severely damaged ship when a new meteor hits it. Too many damages without repair destroys the ship. What should happen then? When the ship is destroyed, the total played time is shown on the screen. There is also a start button, which the user can touch in order to play anew. Let's go to Xcode and see how we can implement this idea. We are inside Xcode. Our task is to show the ship's damages when a meteor hits it. A ship can be damaged 3 times. The 4th damage destroys the ship. If the ship touches the depot, it is restored to undamaged state. When the ship is dead, we have to show the total played time and show the start button so that the user can play again. Our plan is to add damages sprites to the ship and control their visibility depending on if the meteor hits the ship or if the ship is repaired by a depot. The new resources we have in this lesson are 3 images called damage1.png, damage2.png and damage3.png, a sound called shipexplosion.mp3, and a particle effect called shipexplosion.plist. We have also one new class called Level Manager, and it will have a method called shipIsDead, which is called when the ship has been destroyed. This method will show the time played and also set up the start button. Which classes are affected? In the common class, we have to add some new constants. The game layer is responsible for creating the level manager. In collision manager, we have to change 2 methods: the meteor hits ship and depot hits ship. In special effects, we have to add a new particle effect for the ship explosion. In ship manager, we have to add some new methods: new damage when the meteor hits the ship, clear damages when the ship touches the depot, and new ship when the user touches the start button. Let's look at our starting point. In our sprite sheet, we have 3 new sprites. These black blobs representing the damages: damage 1, damage 2 and damage 3.png. In our sounds, we have shipexplosion.mp3. Let's listen to it. In our particles, we have a new particle system called shipexplosion.plist. Let's first go to the common class and see what new constants we have. In the special effects, we are adding a new type of explosion. For our level manager, we'll have 3 new positions. 1 position outside the screen area that we will use to hide the start button and the time label. To show the time label, we will use the time label position, and to show the start button, we will use the start position. Under the ship heading, we are defining the max number of damages. The damage tag base is a number we use to tag the damages. Under the Z order heading, we have time label Z order. We set it to 50, so it comes above everything else. Let's now go to the game layer. The only thing we have to do here is to create the level manager. And that we have done many times before. You do it in 7 steps. Tell a game layer that there is something called level manager. Introduce level manager instance variable. Make a property out of it. In the implementation, import, synthesize, allocate, and release. In Collision Manager, 2 methods are affected. In the depot hit ship, we have to send the clear damages message to the ship manager. In the meteor hit ship, we have to send the new damage message to the ship manager. Then we have to check if the number of damages exceeds maximum allowed, and if so, we have to tell special effects to explode the ship. And the level manager that the ship is dead. Let's have a look at the special effects class. In the interface part, we are adding a particle system called ship explosion. In the implementation part, we are setting up this particle system. And in the sprite explosion method, we are adding the explosion effect of the ship. First we play the sound, then show the explosion, and then hide the ship. Let's now go to Ship Manager. In the interface part, we introduce a new instance variable called number of damages. We make a property out of it, since the Collision Manager needs to access it. We have 3 new methods called new damage, clear damages, and new ship. In the implementation part, in setup ship, we are calling setup damages. The setup damages method is new. We set the number of damages to 0, and then we loop 3 times, creating a damage sprite, setting its visibility to no, setting its position to something appropriate, as you can see here, setting its tag to damage tag base plus the index I, and then we are adding the damage sprite as a subnode to our ship. We have set up the damages, and now we are waiting to receive a message. When we receive the new damage message, we increment the number of damages, and if the number of damages is less than maximum, we show the damage by setting its visibility to yes. The clear damages message is here. We set the number of damages to 0, and we hide all the damages. The new ship message is activated when the user touches the start button. It clears the damages, sets the ship's position to some initial value, and makes the ship visible. Let's now have a look at the level manager. As usual, it has a pointer to the game layer. It has a menu that will hold the start button. It has a float for keeping track of time and a label for displaying time. It has 2 methods, the usual init with and the new one called ship is dead. Let's go to the implementation, to the init with. We start by setting the current time into our time variable, and then we are setting up the start menu and the time label. Setup Start menu is here. It is using the string start for the start item, which we are using as a button, and the selector called Start Tapped, which means when the user touches the start button, this method will be called. We give the start button a position and attach it to a menu. And to begin with, the menu is placed outside the visible screen. And for the time label, we are creating it and putting it outside the screen area. We have set up everything, so we are now waiting for the external message "Ship is dead" to occur. When we receive that message, we calculate the time played and put it into time label. And then we change the position of the time label so it appears on the screen. And also change the position of the start menu so that the start button appears on the screen as well. Then we wait until the user touches the start button, and when he does, the method Start Tapped is invoked. And what it does is to remove the time label and the start button from the screen. It then sends a new ship message to the ship manager, start updating message to the game layer, and resets the time. That's everything there is to it. So let's run and test. And as you can see, it works.